Y'all. Shalom. Most High Christ bless soldier, y'all. Fame. Cuts from the streets. All right. We out here today at C Pleasant Day, a parade of food, family, and fun. And I'm here with brother
Mark Evans.
I'm here with brother Mark Evans. All right. So, brother Mark Evans, what brings you out to C Pleasant Day today?
My family, my fiance, she's from this area.
Okay. Okay.
My kids grew up in this area.
Okay. Okay. All praises.
Brother Keyshawn, what brings you out here on C Pleasant Day?
Cause I'm from out here and I've been living around here for 19 years, so I come out here every day.
Okay. What about you, bro?
It's a celebration every year. It's fun.
I'm here with
Teresa.
So we about to get into some questions. We're gonna ask Teresa. So, what are you here for today?
Really, I'm just here to have a good time. I used to live here, so I haven't been to C Pleasant Day in a long time. I miss living around here, so I thought it would be fun to come today.
Okay, what is C Pleasant Day? What is it for? I'm not from around here, so what is it for?
C Pleasant Day, I guess it's just for the whole community that comes together, because like in certain communities like this, everybody don't come together. Like it's always violence and things like that. So this is actually a good thing for kids, and yeah.
Okay.
A lot of controversy has come about this past couple weeks about Kanye West. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah. I think the words that Kanye said makes it really bad for us. I think my personal opinion on the Kanye thing is that why would he say the thing he said? I didn't get the meaning. What is his purpose of saying that? Because if you look at back in there, slavery's still here.
Right.
And he's saying that we brought slavery here? No, that's not true.
Okay. So brother Mark says that Kanye West's comments are just asinine and they way out of order.
Kanye West said that slavery was a choice. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, to be honest, no, it wasn't a choice, but he should just keep his comments to himself. Because niggas ain't gonna, my bad. But, people,
People not gonna understand where he coming from? Is that what you're trying to say?
Basically, yeah.
Okay. What about you, bro?
I feel like I wouldn't say that it was a choice, but it was more so out there than it is today. Because today we still live in slavery, whether y'all believe it or not. So
I agree.
Slavery's still around.
That's a very true statement. A lot of people don't understand that. You got any comment on that, bro?
Man, I think Kanye West crazy. Ain't no way somebody gonna choose to be a slave 400 years. That's crazy. Ain't nobody gonna choose that.
I got the beautiful black youth with me today. All right, we gonna ask a couple of questions. What's your name, sis?
Harmony.
Armani, what's your name?
Destiny.
Destiny, what's your name?
Jayla.
J-Lo, what's your name?
Janae.
Janae, what's your name?
Josiah.
Josiah. Okay, so we here with the young sisters. All right, so I'm gonna just ask y'all a question. All right, first question is: Do the school systems do they teach y'all slavery in school? They don't teach you slavery?
No.
Why not? Why you think they don't teach you slavery?
Because we gotta take part and we gotta do other things.
Okay. So, about slavery, okay? So, why do y'all think our people went into slavery? I'm gonna start with you. Why do you think our people went into slavery?
I believe we went to slavery because we are hard workers and they like the way that we work and want to use us to get money off of us without giving us our profit for working hard as we do.
Okay, so basically they just use us as puppets to get rich. Okay. So do y'all think that we came over here, do you think we chose to be slaves or were we forced to be slaves?
We were forced to be slaves.
We were forced because we didn't have no choice. They told us get on a boat and they told us do this, and if they didn't, they was gonna whip us. So we didn't get no say so in it at all.
So y'all say we was forced?
Yes. Yeah.
Now you know about Kanye West and everything, right? So let me see, how you feel about that when he says slavery was a choice?
When he said slavery was a choice, to a certain extent he was correct, but then he was incorrect at the same time. Like he was saying, out of 400 years, you telling me that you didn't do this, you didn't do that. The only escape that we had was death back then. That's the only escape that we had. Like, people jumped off the boats when they about to go across the water. They jumped off the boat so they wouldn't be enslaved. Like, that's all that we had. Like, that was our only solution. So for you to say that it was a choice, it really wasn't. The only choice that we had was death. That's what it was. Like when you manipulate somebody to the point where they are fearful of you, you can manipulate them to do anything. And back then they were fearful of the white men. They were fearful of the white people because of what they could do to them and what they were capable of.
In terms of slavery, what do you think caused the mental breakdown of our people as a whole? What do you think caused us to break down mentally?
I don't know, but how we came over here hating each other. I don't know how, because I read about y'all and I read different books. But I think the way we came over here, they made us go against each other, how fighting, getting over here. Even when it came down deep as slavery, we fought each other.
Right.
So it's coming back. We don't know. The white man never going to respect us to respect one another. And that's just my personal opinion on that.
No, I agree, brother. I agree.
What caused the mental and spiritual breakdown of our people as a whole? Like what caused, like when you look around, our people, we in a low condition. We got drugs, gangs, violence in our neighborhoods more so than white neighborhoods, more so than your Arab, Chinese neighborhoods. We got a lot of problems in our neighborhoods, right? So as far as the mental state of our people, the spiritual state of our people, it's broken down. What do you think caused that?
Start with our OGs, because our OGs the ones who we look up to, and the community, and what they advertise on social media.
Okay, so you saying that the OGs, you saying they dropped the ball?
Yeah, because 9 times out of 10, most people listen to the people who they grew up around. So if somebody giving you bad knowledge, telling you to go out here sell drugs and all that, that's most likely what you're going to do because you're listening to the upper hand.
Okay. Anybody got a comment on that?
All right, so like, basically, when I was like going like graduating and shit, like I ain't really have nothing, so I had to basically just do what I had to do to just get stuff. To be honest, that's what I'm gonna say about it. It's good, bro.
Okay. So you're saying that the extreme conditions of our people kind of forces us to do things that we don't want to do.
I mean, that's my opinion, but that's I'm just talking for myself, not other people, but yeah.
Why do y'all think black people act the way we act today? Like, what's wrong with us? What's going on in their head? You got to answer. What's up?
I don't really think it's nothing wrong with us. It's just that we don't know how to take criticism sometimes. Like, it could be good or bad. We just don't know how to answer to it the right way. Okay. And people just think it's a bad way to answer it.
Okay, what about you?
I agree with her because, like, we act the way we act because it's us, We are proud black people of the United States.
Okay.
What do you think caused the mental and spiritual breakdown of our people as a whole? Would you say that we're mentally and spiritually broken down as a people?
I feel like we are to a certain extent. Like I feel like it's just some of the generations who actually have common sense and it's just like, okay, well, we need to stop doing this and start doing this. And then there's others that are just stuck in their ways, like they don't want to change.
So what do you think caused that?
I think what caused it mostly is like probably people's upbringing, like how they were raised and things like that, or like just them being around the wrong crowd and things like that. Like everybody's mindset changes as they develop and they get older and they're around different people. So I feel like it was that, and it's also like people are just ignorant, like they don't want to learn, they don't want to change.
In terms of American slavery, right? What is it that we need to heal us from our oppression as a people? What do you think would be that driving force to get our minds back on?
We need more people like you guys out here. We need mentors out here for the young kids. When I grew up, I'm 50. So when I grew up, I had mentors. We had recreations. We had people talking to you. We had neighbors telling you what to do. You get spankings by the neighbors. Neighbors tell me we're not together no more. You got the parents partying with the kids. There's no more discipline. I figure the contact with kids right now, the parents are scared of the kids. So to your question, how we fix that, we need to get back in the neighborhood and show these brothers that where love come from. We should love one another.
What do we need as a people to heal from our oppression, to heal from our conditions? What do we need to do?
We need more uplifting people for that, because everybody always trying to put you down, like we just said in the last comment. We need more people to bring everybody up and together.
So when you say more people in terms of
elderly, social media, broadcast-wise, what they put on the news, because you don't really see too much positive stuff on the news. Every time I turn on the news, all you see is somebody getting killed or something about somebody got robbed. There's always some negative stuff.
So in terms of our history in America, right? What is the need? What is needed for us to heal from our oppression?
What is needed? It's just unity. Like, everybody shouldn't be like wanting to be out here killing everybody or killing each other. You know, like, we have enough of that anyways. Like, we are not liked in certain ethnicities, nationalities, races. Like, we just have to come together as a whole and realize, okay, we all we got, really.
All right, so I know one thing that's big in the black community is that there's a disconnect between what our ancestors went through back then and what we go through now, right? It's sort of like, well, I didn't pick cotton, I didn't have my back whipped. So what do you think, in your opinion, is the disconnect between our ancestors back then and us today?
That's a good question. Let me see.
Take your time.
The difference of back in the day was much harder. Now we bring that upon ourselves. You know, a lot of people don't try to live for self, they try to live for image. So that go for you going to rob the next black brother or black sister or out here selling them that poison. So the disconnect to me come in is that they don't, none of that's been taught in the school. Right. No Christianity or anything, whatever religion you is, they don't talk about it. They don't show us how to love the kids, how to love one another. So the disconnect from back then and now, my opinion is that they had it rough back then. We don't have it rough. We can make it better. It's all for what you put in it.
So you said something about the OGs, right? So what do you think the disconnect is from the older generation to our generation? What's the disconnect?
Social media. They ain't really had too much social media to distract them from the things that we get distracted by nowadays.
Okay. What you got, bro?
Yeah, same thing. I think since we got more technology and stuff than they had back then, that's why they had to do all the stuff they was doing. They was probably bored. See, we got technology keeping our focus nowadays. You with me?
What do you think is the disconnect between our ancestors when they went through slavery and how we are today, our mental slavery today?
I feel like back then, everybody had everybody, like, no matter what. Like, everybody knew, okay, this, like, we all we got, really. Like I said before, like, it wasn't like how can I say it? It wasn't diverse. Like, it wasn't different people. Like, everyone was just, it was blacks, whites, boom, that's all it was. Whites had whites, blacks had blacks. It wasn't really no collaboration, like, nothing like that.
What do you think is the disconnect between the older generation that actually went through picking the cotton, getting their backs whipped, having their children taken away, versus between us now? Because if you ask a lot of our people, if I asked you, do you think you're a slave today, what would you say? Do you think that we're still in slavery today?
In some sense of the sort, we are, because, you know, at the end of the day, we still have to do certain things to keep our children safe. You know, we're slavery to our own people at the end of the day, because it's us who's out here killing each other and this, that, and third. So we have to keep them prayed over and kept in church and all that at the end of the day. You know, I think with them, they didn't have as much knowledge as we have now on certain things that we can do to, you know, get above all of that. Like, they just went with what they knew. They just knew freedom. So, you know, they may have told them, well, you know, when we get over here, we're going to have a beautiful place for y'all to go. Right. So we have more knowledge than they did back then.
As far as black on black crime, as far as police killing our people, why is it that black people seem to be more upset at white folks killing black people than black people killing black people? Any comment on that?
I feel like black people use that as a get out. Like, it's not really nothing serious. They just use that as a getaway to try to blame something on somebody else. I noticed a lot about our black community. People don't like to take actions for what they do. Take responsibility for their actions. That's what I meant to say. True.
What you got on that?
I just find it's an excuse, because white people die too. So they talking about Black Lives Matter, all this. I just find it's an excuse, you know? That's the most of it.
True. I think it's a little hypocrisy in our community. As far as we should carry the same energy when we kill each other than when a white man, if we truly expect to, you know, make real changes, right?
Let me ask you this. Do you think black people care more why do black people care more when white people kill us than when black people kill each other?
I feel like
Do you feel there is a difference between that? Like, do black people care less when black people kill each other than when the white people kill us?
I feel like it's just a thing as to where if a black person kill a black person, it's an instant, oh, boom, trial, boom, you go to jail. But if a white person does it, it's procrastination. Like, everything is just pushed off to the side. And, like, I feel like it definitely is a difference between it because, like, whites definitely don't go to jail before black people do. Like, if a black person does anything, boom, like, it's just right there. They ready to get us off the streets. And, like, people don't really realize that. They don't realize what they can do to us as far as the legal system, the justice system. Like, we don't have as much power as they do. So people don't realize that. And I just feel like, yeah, it is a difference. But at the same time, justice is served at different points of time when a white person kills a black person, when a black person kills a black person.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Why do you feel like we march and you know, protest when a white person kills us, but we don't really do it when, you know what I'm saying, when people in the hood shoot each other and kill each other? We don't really march for each other in the hood. So why does that happen? Why do you think that's in our mental?
I feel like because people are used to that. Like, it's just a stereotype. Like, communities like this, like, they feel like, oh, stuff like this is going to happen in this community. They don't feel like, I mean, I'm guessing, like, because a white person, like, they never, like, it's never justice served. I feel like we march for just justice for white people killing us because it's just unacceptable and it's just not right. It's not fair. But, you know, I mean, I guess that's how it is. It's just the stereotype, the stereotypical neighborhood where they feel, oh, this is going to happen. Like, we used to this. But then, you know, like, everybody just, their state of mind changes when a white person does it. I don't know why, but I feel like it should be the same for when a black person kills a black person, when a white person kills a black person. Because you can't kill your own kind. Like I said before, we all we got. We all we have.
I asked the young sisters, I said, do they teach slavery in the school system? These 4 sisters said yes. She said no. So why do you think that our school systems are trying to make it seem as if our oppression, that our slavery never existed? Like, what do you think is the propaganda or the agenda behind that?
I don't necessarily think it's a proper. Well, they go to schools in Columbia, Maryland, so they may teach them certain things. Okay. She goes to Southeast School, so I'm thinking that those would be the ones to teach them that. Right. But I guess at the end of the day, I don't think it's a propaganda on why they're not teaching them about slavery, because they hear about it on a day-to-day basis, you know, in the world. So I wouldn't say that it's a propaganda per se. Like, yeah, I'm not.
Okay.
So now, question: what's y'all thoughts on the Bible?
I believe in Christianity and the Bible, but some things, because the Bible is written and it's always been changed, so it's a little skeptical to me. Some stuff I be like, I don't really know if it's the truth, because like I said, it's always, the Bible changes every couple years. So
okay, that's a very good point. There's a lot of misconceptions on the Bible, on Christianity.
I say a lot of stuff out the Bible, you know.
A lot of books missing from the Bible, right? So one of the things that we're about to show you, we're going to touch on these questions real quick. Some of the questions that I asked you, we're going to show you out the Bible. And one of the things that I hope that y'all learned today is that Christianity and the Bible, 2 completely different things. What they teach in the Christian church has nothing to do with the Bible.
So we're going to just bring a few scriptures out, just a few. Let me get Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1. Verse 1, because a lot of people, some people out there might think that slavery was a choice. I'm just saying, some people might be under that thought.
I still say that's a hard one. Yeah. That's a hard question for me to answer. Right. Because I wasn't back there. I'm only 50. You wasn't back there. So for you to come out and say 400 years of slavery, I'm not understanding it.
Right.
Maybe you can give me some insight what you feel about it.
Right.
But me, I don't understand it.
Of course. So what we're going to do is, so according to the Bible, slavery was a curse that was put upon our people. So you say you're familiar with the Israelites, right? Okay. So let's read Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1. All right?
This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
So one of the conditions is that if we listen to the Most High's commandments, that he would set us up above all nations in the earth, right? I agree. Us as so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans.
I don't believe why should we say Negroes or Caucasians? Why we just can't be one as one?
Right.
So I believe that whole scripture there.
Okay, all praises, bro. Now, let's jump to verse 15, because I said now, Kanye said slavery was a choice. We both agree that that's...
Well, I see, that's a hard one for me, because I wasn't back yet. Right. But listen to my great-grandmother and great-grandfather, because I still remember, and the way they said they lived, according to the way we live, they have a choice. They didn't have a choice. We have a choice. Right. If you motivate yourself, put yourself in a better position, education, better jobs, you don't have to be that way. Exactly. I mean, so I don't get back to your question. That's a hard one, man.
Okay. Well, we're gonna let the Most High speak. We're gonna show you that from the Bible, slavery was a curse. Read. Verse 15.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
He said, the Most High said, if we don't listen to all these commandments, to the Most High's word, that's what's gonna happen.
To observe, to do all his commandments.
That's the stipulation. We have to do his commandments. Not just say we love God, but we have to show God that we love him, right? Read.
And his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So now, let's just get one curse. Let's jump to verse 32.
This is Deuteronomy 28, 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
So thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people. Now, Mark, I want you to name me a nation who had their children taken away from them in mass numbers and weren't able to get them back. What other nation did that happen to?
Wow, you put me on the spot like that, brother.
Just answer honestly, just whatever you...
Wow. Libya?
Oh, okay. I'm speaking in terms of slavery. Name me one people that had their children taken away from them and there was nothing that they could do to get them back.
Us was black people.
Exactly.
I said us as black people, we was taught, like I've been reading that book a lot. We was taught that God was white. He's not. He's bronze color. But a lot of people think that he's white. He's not.
Because what we here to show you is the state of our people, the things that we're going through, it's prophesied in the scriptures to happen to a specific group of people. The things that we go through as a people was prophesied that it was going to happen, but we're not going to learn this in church because they don't read the Bible in church. So get 28, 1-1, or 1-1. You got it.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 1 verse 1. These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel.
It says, these be the words that Moses spake to all Israel, right? Not the whole world, but he spoke to Israel. So what you gonna find out is who exactly is Israel? Who did he spoke to? Because the church will have you thinking he speak a bunch of white people, right? We about to find out today. 28 and 15.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
So Moses is saying, it shall come to pass, meaning it's gonna happen in the future, right? If y'all don't listen to the voice of the Most High God, read.
To observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So he said, if you don't listen, these curses is going to come upon you and take thee, right? Talking to the children of Israel. Now, is a curse a good thing or a bad thing?
Bad.
Curse is a bad thing, right? Let's read one of these curses that only happened to the children of Israel. Verse 48.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 48. Therefore thou shalt serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee.
You shall serve your enemy, right? Is the enemy a friend? That the Lord shall send against thee, right? Keep reading.
In hunger and in thirst and in nakedness.
So we're going to serve our enemies in hunger and thirst and nakedness. Real quick. When you want some food, where you got to go to get it?
Store or somebody that offers food.
Who owns the stores?
Mostly white.
We got a carry out right here.
Chinese folk.
Can you go to a store that's black owned and get your food? As a whole?
Not really.
9 times out of 10, when we gotta go get some food, whether it's a grocery store, even if you go to the farm, who owns the land? No matter where we go, we gotta get our food from another nation of people. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
You agree with that, right? This is in the Bible. It says, in hunger and in thirst, right? When you want something to drink, when you want to take a shower, you got to pay your water bill. Who you paying this to?
The white man.
The white man, right? We don't own this stuff, right? And it says in nakedness, the clothes on our back. Who makes that?
The white man.
That's the Sean John, Polo, all these things that we wear. Who makes that?
White man.
Exactly. And finish that out.
And in want of all things.
And one, I'm gonna get to the point. And it says in one of all things. You got a driver's license?
Nah.
You got an ID?
I don't though.
You gotta get that together. But you got a birth certificate?
Yeah.
Who gave you that?
White man.
Driver's license, birth certificate, Visa card, anything that you could think of. Who do we get it from? We get it from our enemies, right? Right? That's a form of slavery. Finish it out.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
It says, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck till he destroyed thee, right? And slavery, did we have yokes of iron on our neck?
Yeah.
And remember, I asked you a question about the mental and the spiritual state of our people. We're destroyed. We've been destroyed since we came on this side of the world. But don't lose the thought. The point is, this is a curse that was going to happen to the children of Israel, right? This didn't happen to the Chinese people, white people. This didn't happen to the African people. This happened to the Israelites. So now we got to think, what is this Bible really talking about? Because they don't read that in church. What's really going on? Now, to see if you was paying attention, it said this will happen to the children of Israel if what?
They don't listen.
If we don't listen, right? All praises. I'm glad you remember that, because that's the point.
So he said, if the Israelites did not listen to God, that he was going to put curses on them, right? That he was like, you know what? If y'all don't listen and do what I say to do, I'm going to put curses on you, right? So now it's getting ready to list a few curses that happened to this specific group of people, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to do the 2 and 2 together, okay? Give me 32.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
So he said, thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people. Who did that happen to?
That did happen to the Africans and the African Americans. We were given to the white people.
Right. So you say our children were given to another nation, right? Were given to another people, right? Okay, there's one that's linking us up with the Israelites, okay? Go ahead.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fill with longing for them all the day long. And there shall be no might in thine hand.
You seen 12 Years a Slave?
Yeah, but...
You remember old girl crying for her kids?
Oh, yeah.
Remember that her kids didn't come back?
Yeah.
That's exactly what the scripture just said. It said you could yearn for your kids, but you won't get them back. This happened to us in slavery.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So, Sister Crystal, the Most High this is Moses speaking. Moses said to the children of Israel, if you don't listen to what the Most High is saying, all of these curses are going to come upon you, right? So in your neighborhoods, right, you see what? Violence, you see gangs, you see drunkenness, you see a lot of the older sisters, they prostituting, right? All of that stuff is bad. All of that stuff is a result of us walking away from God's commandments. You got something?
It's not only black people that's doing that, though. It's white people, too.
That's true. That's very true. But the reason why it affects our community more so is because we have a higher spiritual connection with the Most High. Now, understand this. The Most High doesn't care what the other nations do. He only cares about what we do as a people because he chose us. Give me Deuteronomy 7 and 6. I want y'all to know that the Most High chose us as Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. The Most High, we're all one people. He chose us to rule over this earth. I want y'all to understand that y'all are princesses. He's a young prince. One day when he grows older, he's going to be a king. The Most High loved y'all, and the reason why he put us through what he put us through is because he truly loved us. Watch this.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God.
Holy means separate. We're not supposed to be doing what the other nations do, right? They celebrate birthdays. We're not supposed to be doing that. They celebrate Easter, Christmas. Yeah, we're not supposed to be doing that. Those are not our customs. Read.
Child, you can't tell kids that.
But no, sis.
Right, I would say they'll understand it by and by, but right now it's children, they like Christmas. Wait a minute, birthdays, wait a minute.
No, I understand.
Creep me out, I'm about to leave. I'm sorry.
Just stay focused. Just stay focused. But we as a people, we can't get caught up into those customs, all right?
I asked you a question about the disconnect from our ancestors, our elders, or OGs, however you want to say it. Get Jeremiah 17:4 real quick, because a lot of these things are biblical. So he gonna read this script, and I'm gonna get y'all thoughts on this script real quick.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 17, verse 4. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee.
So it says, you're going to discontinue from the heritage that he gave us. What's that mean?
Like it's going to come to an end?
Exactly. So if your heritage comes to an end, that means what? What's a part of a heritage? You got your language, your customs, the things that people do. That's all part of your heritage. You get what I'm saying? Your traditions, the things you do is your heritage. We discontinue from meaning we broke away from our heritage through slavery. Before we came to America, we didn't go to church on Sundays. We didn't worship white man Jesus. We didn't follow Christmas, Easter. We didn't even celebrate birthdays, believe it or not. That's something we learned here in slavery. So let me get to the point. Get Job 30:30 real quick. You still with us? Check this out, because you would never have thought that this stuff is in the Bible. They teach us the Bible is a white man book, right? Check this out.
The book of Job, chapter 30, verse 30. My skin is black upon me.
This is Job. What that mean?
He was a black man.
If you Google the image of Job right now, what's going to pop up?
A white man.
So that's a lie, clearly, right? Get Song of Solomon 1-5. These are the things that our people need to know.
The book of the Song of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 5. I am black but comely.
That's King Solomon. That's King David's son. If you're familiar with these names, he said his skin is black, right?
Yes.
What does that mean?
He was a black man as well.
And if you know anything about King Solomon, he was a rich, wise king on this earth. This ain't no fairy tale. These men really walked the earth. They're black men. Remember, it said the children of Israel would go into slavery if they broke the commandments. So who are the descendants of these men?
Israel, like the black people is the Israel kids.
There you go. The people who went into slavery, get Deuteronomy 28:68. This is gonna drive it home. What I'm trying to show y'all is these people in this book are black, and their descendants, something happened to their descendants. We about to read it.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
The Lord shall bring thee into Egypt. Egypt means bondage, slavery. The Lord shall bring thee into Egypt or bondage again with ships. How do we get to America?
Ships, slave ships.
This was written thousands of years ago before it actually happened. This is how we know this is a true book. This was written thousands of years ago. It said we're going to go into slavery. This is a regular Bible.
I was about to say,
where
you get that one from?
This is a regular King James Bible that you probably have in your grandmother's house somewhere with a bunch of dust on it. Once again, they don't read this in church. It says slavery on ships. How did you get to Trinidad?
Fly.
How did your ancestors get to the island?
Yeah, boat.
They dropped us off Trinidad, Haiti, Jamaica, South America. We got scattered all over. Get that in 64 real quick. So once again, I'm really trying to drive the point home that this book doesn't teach religion. This book simply shows the history of a specific group of people.
So you know how in school they always say black folks don't really know where they came from. So the Bible is really our book of our history.
Wow.
So it says when we go into Egypt, meaning America, we're gonna go by what?
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
So Sister Crystal, I'm pretty sure you know you are older sister. How did our ancestors get over to America?
They were taken on ships.
We were taken on ships. The Bible prophesied this thousands of years before it happened. Read on.
With ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
So we're not going to see our homeland Israel again because we think we're Americans. Now, we were born here in America, so we would call ourselves Americans. But as far as bloodline, we're Israelites, God's chosen people. Read on.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
We were sold unto our enemies during what? During slavery. Now, who were we sold to? What nation of people were we sold to?
White people?
Caucasian.
Caucasians. Caucasians.
So we agree that we were sold, right? We were sold to white people, right? That's a fact. That's nothing hatred. That's nothing hateful. That's actual historical facts, right? Read on.
Thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen.
Do y'all know that you young sisters will be on auction blocks? They would strip y'all naked, oil y'all up, and have you standing in front of a group of white people for y'all to be sold. Did y'all know that happened to y'all? Y'all know that y'all happened to our people?
Nah, go to 48. Because it's some more things that remember, these are curses that was put on Israel, right? So God said, I'm going to curse you, and this was going to happen to you and your people, right? So now we linking it together, because we're Israelites. Little do you know. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to show you.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee.
So because the Israelites did not listen to God's commandments, he said, I'm going to send your enemies against you, right? Now check out this specific group of enemies. You're going to see what they did, okay?
Which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things.
So he said in hunger, in any food. Like if you go to the carryout, our people don't own the carryout, right? So guess what? Them people own it. You got to go to them to get your food, right? And thirst. If you don't pay your water bill, who owns the water companies? The white people, right? You know what I'm saying? Who owns your clothes? You own your clothes, but who makes them for us? The Chinese people, right? So that's not our people, right? That's not Israel, right? So, and then a one of all things. You got a driver's license? Got an ID? Got a birth certificate? Boom. If you die in these streets, you got to go to somebody else. You can't even be buried until they get their death certificate. You understand? So you got to go to your enemies for one of all things. Now listen, this is a key point on what your enemies did to our people. Listen.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
So now you got to go back in history, right? Who in the world, in history, throughout the history of the earth, had yokes of iron? Yoke is, you know what I'm saying, like a collar of iron around their neck.
Black people.
Black people. Now this is in the Bible. And God said that this was going to happen to the Israelites. He said, you know what, Israelites, because y'all don't want to listen to me, I'm going to give your sons and daughters to somebody else. I'm going to make you serve your enemies for everything. For food, water, clothes. And they're going to put yokes of iron on your neck. So that's just proving that you are an Israelite. Not black, not African American. Because God said this was happening to your people. And the reason why we are spiritually and mentally broken down, give me Deuteronomy 28:28. This is why right here.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 28. The Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart.
So he said, the Lord shall smite thee with blindness, madness, and astonishment of heart. The heart is the mind. So astonishment of your mind. We was astonished how, like if we go back and look at slavery today, right, we'll be like this. How the hell can 300 black people be on a plantation with one white man and he ruling over them?
Right.
It's astonishment of heart. You know what I'm saying? That was a curse from God because we didn't listen to him. You understand what I'm saying? So this is why these things happen to us, because we ain't listen to God.
A lot of us still may think that we're not in slavery today, but I'm gonna show you, Mark. Watch this. You gotta
Go ahead,
Okay. Verse 48.
Deuteronomy 28:48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee.
So the enemies that the Lord sent against us were so-called Caucasians, so-called Asians, so-called Africans. So according to the Bible, the Most High calls those nations that were sent against us enemies. The Lord did that. Kanye said it was a choice. No, that wasn't a choice. That was a curse.
I was telling you, what he said to me is absolutely don't make no sense. That is my personal opinion,
I agree.
and I don't want to seem kind of crazy to y'all. Y'all thing y'all have going on. I believe a lot of that's going on with Sam here. I believe it is a curse. If you think about what Willie Lynch said, if you read the book, I read the book like several times, and he said we always going to hate one another. Why? I still want to know why. I think we the only messed up race to me. That's my only personal opinion. Our race is the only race that have so much anger with one another. So how did that come upon? That's a good question. I want to know.
Okay, well we actually reading it right now. So let's start at verse 48 again from the top.
Verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger.
So we would have to go to our enemies in hunger, not just back then, but today. Let's look around, right? You got Little Caesars. You got the chicken spots, right? The Chinese restaurants. Do we own any of these establishments?
They pimping us.
Exactly.
They put them out in urban areas, making money off us.
Exactly.
Just like to me, I feel about, I would never buy nothing from Jordan, ever. My personal opinion. My preferred person, when I try to teach my kid, I have never seen Jordan do nothing. All the money he had made of Nike, why come they do a Black Friday? Why you can't do 50% off day all Jordans? Right. Get back to the community. And if you made all this money, come on, you'll be there. Right. Tell them I want to make a, I want to make a shoe that's affordable, nice, and kids won't fight over it. Exactly. So you put all this, like you say, all these things in here, and then everybody have to have this kind of shoe, these kind of jeans. So think about it.
All right, so it said Brother Mark made a profound statement. So let's read on.
And in thirst.
So in thirst, when you talk about your Dasanis, your Gatorades, your Fantas, your Pepsis, we don't own the bottling companies to. You
gotta drink them. They put it out there, and you know what? They put it out there, it's poison. Everything they putting out here, we poison. Think about it. Exactly. I'm reading a book now. I'm trying to go on a plant-based diet. Because if you look at it, they poisoning us. Big chicken, we go to Curry Out, get chicken wing, man, looking like turkey wings. Right. Then you wonder about how your daughter growing up so fast. How she maturing like that? What they putting in? Right. How your son getting so fat because he's sitting there and they put his PlayStation out here, Xbox, to train our kids to stay in the house. Think about it.
So our history really is the Bible, and they put it in the Bible because they know most black folks ain't gonna take the time out to go read the Bible because they think that it's all about religion.
Exactly. You ask the average black person out here, they don't want to read the Bible. They think, get Jesus real quick. Because what color is Jesus?
What they say he is a white man, I believe he black.
Let's find out. What color is Jesus?
Yeah, he black. He got brown skin.
Okay, you know something.
No, why do they teach that he's white in the churches? Every church, most of the churches you go into, they have an image of a white Christ. Why?
Yeah, I don't necessarily know why. Like, I just never thought it was logical. Like, even when growing up, I saw a white Jesus, but I was a church girl reading the Bible. That's how my grandmother raised me. And like, I always asked, I was like, how is Jesus white? Like, it never made sense to me.
Let's read that. Revelation.
The book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 14. His head and his hairs were white like wool.
His head and his hairs were white like wool. Is wool a color or a texture?
Yeah, it's a texture.
It's a texture. Who has woolly hair?
Black folks.
Keep reading.
As white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire.
His eyes were as a flame of fire. When you read the book of Genesis, it simply says his eyes was red with wine. Jesus drank wine. Y'all know, if you ever drink, when you drink, your eyes might get a little red. So that's all that's saying. Jesus had red eyes because he drank wine. Keep reading.
And his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace.
So, Trini, his feet like unto fine brass. What color is brass?
Brass. What's brass?
Like a penny or a brass instrument, a trumpet. What color is brass?
Like brownish, so?
Brass is brown, right? Brass as if it burned in the furnace. Now, if you burn anything in the furnace, what color is it gonna get?
Black.
It's gonna get black, right? Christ. Now, if you Google Christ, I love it. If you Google Jesus Christ, what's gonna pop up?
A white man.
Get that in 1 Maccabees, was it 3:48? Now, we just read Christ was skin of bronze as if it burned in the furnace, hair like wool, right? Christ was a black man, obviously, right? Now, the Christian church teaches he's white. He came and died for everybody. Just believe on him. You heard this before, right? None of that is in the Bible. Think about it. Every time you heard that, you might hear the pastor saying it, but you never hear him read that. That's not in the Bible. They lied. They've been lying to us since we've been over here. Check this out, and we're going to wrap it up.
1 Maccabees chapter 3, verse 48.
Check this out. Check this out about Jesus. This is what they did to us. Read.
1 Maccabees chapter 3, verse 48. And laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images.
Read it one more time.
And laid open the book of the law.
So the heathen, they laid open the book of the law, which is our Bible, because at one point in time in history, they conquered us. This isn't the only time we've been conquered. So they took our book, and they did what?
And laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images.
The heathen took our book, and they painted the likeness of their images. So at one point in time, we just read, I am black, but calmly, my skin is black. They took that, and they painted their images over it. You understand that? They whitewashed the Bible, just to make it plain. But the Bible warned us that this would happen. But we don't read the Bible. You see that? So one more scripture, then we're going to wrap it up. Matthew chapter 15, verse 24. Because I just want y'all brothers to understand, we're not Christians. That's a religion. We're Israelites. We're not Christians. Well, when I say Christians, because Christian means to follow Christ. So when I say we're not Christians, I mean we don't practice Christianity.
In the modern day sense.
In the modern day sense. You understand that? We're Israelites, meaning we're blood descendants of these people, because it just told us that their children are going to go into slavery on ships. That happened to our forefathers. That didn't happen to the Africans, because why they didn't come save us? They understood that we two different people. You got East Indians, they black, but they not us. You got some Arabs, they black, they not us. So it's not about a skin color. You understand that? So read this scripture.
The book of Matthew chapter 15, verse 24. But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
He said, I'm not sent but to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Did that say the whole world? Or did that say the house of Israel?
House of Israel.
And who is the house of Israel? We learning that right now.
Us, basically, black folks.
Exactly. So understand, bro, the conditions of our people was a curse put upon us for not listening to the commandments. God is punishing his people.
I've heard that too. And we still under that curse.
We still under that curse, but that's why we here. The more people that know about this, the more we can start cleaning ourselves up and keeping the commandments.
We don't agree with Kanye saying slavery was a choice, right?
No, I don't agree.
But you said, in a way, it kind of makes some sense, because what? We keep choosing to do what?
We keep choosing to kill our own people, like
live in a slave mind state, right? So it's, in a sense, he was wrong. Yes, in a sense, he was right, right? Because today we out here marching and we're having a parade. And like you said, it's a good time to get the black community together. But as soon as this day is over with, guess what?
Everything goes back to normal.
Everything goes back to normal, like this never happened. Right?
Right.
That's a mental destruction, mental destroyed people, right? So the Bible is telling us that because we broke God's laws, we was mentally destroyed as a people. You know what I'm saying? And the disconnect between slavery and today is that slavery, they knew they were slaves. Today, we don't even realize that we're slaves.
At all.
We don't realize it, right?
No.
We think we're free.
Right, exactly.
We get to have days like this and all that, right? But
everything is just different. But at the same time, it's the same.
So, Brother Mark, what did you learn today?
Well, I learned from you. You told me that slavery was a poison. I mean, that was brought upon us. we didn't have that. We didn't make it. It's a poison. That's what I got. Okay. That you showed me in the book, even in the book, that you showed me how everything how it broke down, how everything. And I appreciate y'all talking to me because I've been wanting to say something about it, but we bring that upon ourselves. All the things that's happening right now.
All right, y'all. So another great interview, Brother Mark. We had C. Pleasant Day. I'm Soldier Y'all Fame. Most High in Christ bless. Shalom.
So, with that being said, I'm gonna ask you, what'd you learn today?
I really gave it I learned a lot. I really did. Because like certain scriptures in that Bible I never heard before. I definitely learned to like pay more attention, like to be more mindful of the things that I see and the things that I read, and like look into things more to become more smart, intelligent, especially about my people, you know.
So, this is
Teresa.
And this is Cuts from the Street, IUIC DC. Shalom, Most High in Christ bless.
So, what did y'all brothers learn today?
I learned that the Bible, well, what they teach us in the world is just all lies, the blindsiders. Because just as well as they teach us that stuff in the Bible, the same way certain stuff they teach us in school, they teach us for us to be more so workers than learners.
Exactly. They teach us exactly. What you learned today, bro?
I learned that that black peoples are descendant of Israel, and we were supposed to be, we are under punishment for not following the commandments. That's why we went through slavery, and we still going through slavery right now.
Exactly. Trini, what you learned today, bro?
That I just learned a lot about the Bible, a lot of stuff that wasn't in the Bible that y'all just told us about, and about black slavery. You know, like, I know, see where Kanye West was coming from. He's sitting on here talking to me and stuff, that we put ourselves in this situation. And that's true, because we got out of slavery, but we still killing each other. We still out here, you know, doing stuff that put us in slavery, you know. But the way I look at it is that, yeah, you taught us a lot of stuff in that Bible, you know. God, the Bibles don't got that.
All praises. Just so y'all know, that's the King James Bible. Stay away from the NIVs, all that, because that's when they start switching words around. King James Bible is what you want to learn from. And all praises. This is IUIC DC, Cuts in the Streets, here at C. Pleasant Day. Most High in Christ bless.
So what we're going to do is we're going to wrap it up. I know y'all want to have some fun. So one last question for you, sis. What did you learn today?
That my children can pay attention longer than a few minutes.
But besides
I know. Well, I'm kind of known a lot. Okay. That, you know, you were talking about already. You know, it's just they learned a little bit more. Okay. Than what, you know.
Okay, so I
learned.
Okay, so I guess I should ask y'all, what did you learn today, sis?
Well, I learned that. Wait, hold on. I learned that we wasn't forced, and we wasn't like, it was a curse upon us, and we are chosen ones from God.
Okay, what about you, sis? What you learned today?
I learned that all of us are the same.
Okay.
And we should stay together.
What you learned today, sis?
That slavery was not a choice, it was a curse.
Okay, what you learned today, baby girl?
That slavery was a choice, and we went through slavery and people wanted to be rich, and the black people didn't want to do it, so they had no choice to do it.
Okay, now what you learned today, baby girl?
I learned about slavery and not a choice, and not to be racist, and not to change our hair color, because just the way we are, and it's pretty just the way we are. Don't change nothing.
Okay, so what I need y'all to do is just turn to the camera, right? So we about to sign off. See Pleasant Day, Soldier Y'all Fame. Y'all wave to the camera. Say bye. All right, shalom. Most High in Christ bless.
Shalom, Israel. I'm Elder Nathaniel, Israel United in Christ. YouTube likes to shut our channels down, as some of you have noticed, ever so often. Subscribing to join IUIC will assure you will always stay connected to our YouTube accounts. We want to do our best to make sure this truth gets out. Please click and join our subscriber YouTube channel called Join IUIC to stay linked to all of our videos. So again, please make sure you subscribe to this Join IUIC channel to get your latest updates from all our YouTube channels. Shalom.